This is Roy Cannaday, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Sorcerer Supreme himself, the Doctor Strange Hero Pack for Marvel Champions. Let's get to it. Alright, we're going to take a look at the Doctor Strange Hero Pack here. So, first we start off with Stephen Strange. So, he has a recovery of 3, he has a hand size of 6, and 10 hit points. So not the lowest hit points, but not super high at all either. So Stephen Strange begins the game with an invocation deck. What's an invocation deck? Well, we'll look at that in just a minute here. But his ability here is action, discard the top card of the evocation deck once per phase. This is going to allow you to go through this evocation deck, which is a deck of 5 cards, and you're going to be able to basically, when you play this, it's going to have a card face up, and you are going to be able to use Stephen Strange's ability here to discard that card and reveal the next card. So you kind of know. This will kind of act as a card that is inside your hand. Whenever this deck is emptied out, you're going to shuffle it up and put it back and then reveal the top card of it again. And this doesn't cause any sort of penalty, like you don't have to draw a treachery card or anything like that. But you're going to be cycling through these cards. Cool, well the other side is Doctor Strange here. 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense. Spell Mastery. Action, exhaust Doctor Strange to pay the cost of the top card of the evocation deck and resolve the special ability of that card. So basically these cards are kind of like they're in your hand, but you have to exhaust Doctor Strange to be able to use it. So let's take a look at some of these cards and how awesome they are. So let's see here. Winds of Watum. Draw. It costs 0 to play, so you exhaust Doctor Strange, and you're going to be able to play this card. Draw 3 cards, place this card in your evocation deck discard pile. Awesome. Card draw is awesome because it allows you to play other cards and helps you get set up. Let's see here. Vapors of Voltar. I don't know if I'm saying any of these names right, seeing that they're all very mystical, magical names, but this is a 0-cost event. Choose a status card in play. Replace that status card with a different status card. Place this card in the evocation deck discard pile. This will then be discarded, which is pretty cool because you're going to have all sorts of different status effects with Doctor Strange here. And let's take a look at some of his other evocation things here. 7 Rings of Ragnar. Costs 1 for this one. Special, give up to 3 characters each a tough status card and place this card on the deck discard pile. So technically, if you could even give the bad guy a tough status card and then do this and switch it out for a different type of status card. But that might be kind of risky because you're never going to be quite sure if the Vapors will be the next card on the evocation deck. Then Images of Icon. This is a 1-cost event. Confuse the villain and remove 4 threat from the scheme. Place this card in the invocation deck discard pile. It costs 1 and gets rid of 4 threat. That's crazy. And it confuses the villain. This card is amazingly good for minimizing the threat there. And then my favorite card in the evocation deck, Crimson Bands of Kryrak. Anyway, I'm not sure if I said that right at all. Probably did it terribly. But yeah, 2-cost event. Special, stun the enemy, so he's not going to be attacking you back very easily. And deal 7 damage to it. And place this card in the evocation deck discard pile. So this is just 7 damage for 2 cost. That is awesome. And it stuns them at the same time. Of course, you have to exhaust Doctor Strange to be able to pull that off. But yeah, definitely an awesome card. So those are the 5 cards that you get in this evocation deck. And basically the way Doctor Strange is really going to work is he's going to be cycling through this deck of cards, trying to get the correct card up that you want to currently play. And then you're going to be exhausting him to do it. But yeah, let's see what some of the other cards that come in the deck here. So you're going to have to be paying all these costs. The Eye of Agamotto here is going to be 2-cost upgrade. Hero resource, exhaust the eye to generate a wild resource. Awesome. So resource generation, but it generates wild, so you'll be able to play more cards. Cloak of Levitation, another 2-cost upgrade here. You gain the aerial trait, and also you can exhaust the Cloak of Levitation to ready Doctor Strange, which of course, exhausting this to ready Doctor Strange will allow you to play more cards from an evocation deck. He might not have much attack, but if you can get Crimson Bands up there, he'll be able to do some damage. Cool stuff. Cool. And then the Sanctum Sanctorum. Cost 1, it's a support card. Alter Ego action, so it has to be with Stephen Strange. You exhaust it, and then you shuffle all the spell cards from your discard pile into your deck, and then draw one card. Cool. Well, let's see if we can find some of these spell cards here. And of course, card draw is always awesome, and that only costs 1 for that card draw. Upgrade, this is a magical enchantments, condition spell, and you play it under any player's control. Your hero gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, and +1 defense. Forced interrupt. When the round ends, discard this enchantment. So it's just a cool thing that gives them +1 to all their stats. Would be really cool if you're playing multiplayer and hey, you give it to Captain America so he has +1 for this turn, and then he can attack, and then unexhaust, and then attack again, because you know that's what Captain America does. So you get 2 of those. And then another good attack card here, Magic Blast. This one costs 3, so a bit more expensive. This is another spell as well. Hero action, deal 5 damage to the enemy and discard the top card of your deck. If that card's printed resource has the physical, you're going to stun the enemy. If it has the energy, you're going to deal 2 damage to that enemy. If you have mental, you're going to confuse the enemy. And if it's wild, you get all the above. I've actually drawn wild on this before and confused, stunned, and dealt 2 extra damage, so it was dealing 7. Wow, this card can be really good. And it costs 3. I think it's pretty cool because it, once again, gives status effects out there that can definitely mess up the villain. And you get 2 of those in the deck. And then let's see here. This is probably one of my favorite events here in the game for Doctor Strange. Master of the Mystic Arts. It's a 1-cost event. You can play the print, or you can pay the printed cost of the top card of the evocation deck, resolve its special ability, then place it back on top of the deck face up. So that's amazing if you can play Crimson Band twice in one turn and figure out a way to deal 7 or 14 damage. Another thing that's I've had happen before is I played the Winds of Watum card and drawn 6 cards in a turn. Of course, you're having to discard and play stuff with this, but definitely allows you to get huge card draw if you're able to do things like that. So this is really one of my favorites since Doctor Strange is all about doing all of the evocation deck. This allows you to play a card twice. That's really cool. Let's see here. Astral Projection. So this is a 2-cost event. You get 2 of them. It's a thwart of action, hero action. Choose a scheme, remove 3 threat from that scheme, and look at the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon on there, you remove an additional threat from the chosen scheme. This can definitely help you get rid of tons of threat, which of course helps you stay in the game without losing. Let's see here. Protective Ward. So this one is a 1-cost event, and it is a hero interrupt. When a treachery is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel all of its effects and discard it. That is awesome. Another card that's going to help you deal with those nasty treacheries that come out. So cool card there. And then Mystical Studies. This is a 1-of in the deck. It is a 1-cost event. Alter Ego action, so you have to be Stephen Strange. Search your deck or discard pile for a Doctor Strange card, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. This is going to allow you to try to figure out how to get some of those cool combos off again. And then Wong. Wong is awesome. He is a 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack. But as an action, you can exhaust Wong and choose to either heal 1 damage from your identity, which is cool enough, I guess, or discard the top card of the evocation deck. So it's going to be able to do very similar to what the Stephen Strange side here does. This is going to allow you to cycle that evocation deck, making sure you get the super awesome cards, trying to help you get that 7 damage out or be able to reduce threat depending on which card you're trying to find. Really good stuff there. Cool, well, let's take a look at some of the protection stuff, seeing that Doctor Strange's protection. So the Night Nurse. This uses 3 medical counters, exhaust the Night Nurse, and remove 1 of the medical counters from her to heal 1 damage from a hero, or discard 1 status card, and discard 1 status card. This is going to be able to be really good if you're playing against somebody who has tons of stun in their deck if they're a villain, or they have things that are going to confuse you a bunch. The Night Nurse is going to be amazing to be able to help get rid of a lot of stuff, and she only costs 1, and regardless, she's going to end up healing you for 3. So not too bad, not too bad. Then you get 3 of Desperate Defense. This one's pretty cool. 1-cost event, Hero Interrupt. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense for that attack. If you take no damage from that attack, ready your hero. This is going to be able to help you defend and jump back up to be able to not be exhausted after the defense, which is really cool. Then you have 3 of Momentum Shift. This is an attack event here. Two cost event, hero action, attack, heal 2 damage from your hero, deal 2 damage to an enemy. So you're not only going to be able to heal yourself, you're also going to be able to knock somebody down for 2 hits. Then we have Unflappable. This is a 1 cost upgrade. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. Response: after you defend against an attack and take no damage, exhaust this card, or exhaust Unflappable, and draw 1 card. So this is going to allow you to draw cards. This would be really good paired with Spider-Man's ability where he's drawing cards each time he gets attacked as well. It's really, really cool stuff there, but of course you have to figure out a way to take no damage from that attack. Let's take a look at some allies here. Iron Fist. Oh my goodness. This is definitely one of my favorite allies of all time. 4 cost, of course, pretty expensive. Then 1 thwart. 2 attack. They all both take 1 consequential damage. Iron Fist comes into play with 2 mystic counters on him. Response: when Iron Fist attacks an enemy, you may remove a mystic counter from him to stun that enemy and deal 1 damage to it. So then he's technically dealing 3 damage. Iron Fist is so good. I've really enjoyed playing with him, especially when you're stunning. With all the other stun in this deck, you can make it so that enemies, especially when you're playing solo, aren't even really dealing that much damage back to you. Really good stuff. Then we're going to take a look at Brother Voodoo here. 3 cost, 2 thwart, but he does take 2 consequential damage for it. 1 attack. After he enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event card, add to your hand, and then shuffle the deck. Another way to, he kind of mitigates his cost a little bit because he'll let you drop a card, and you get to pick an event card out of the top 5 cards. That's pretty cool. Maybe that can combo into something really good. And here is Clara. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce her name. Clara. Then costs 2, 1 thwart, 1 attack, interrupt. When she's defeated, shuffle her back into the deck. So very simple ally here that just gives you 1 of each, but if she's defeated, it's going to go back in your deck instead of in your discard pile. Pretty cool stuff there. And then just some cards you've already seen before. Power Protection, of course, makes it easier to play the protection cards. And then Med Team is a great way to spend medical counters to heal your characters, which can be used to heal allies, which is awesome. Cool, let's look at some of the neutral cards here. So this is crazy that this is a neutral card, makes it sort of interesting. Upgrade costs 2. The Sorcerer Supreme. Play only if you have the Mystic trait. Currently, only Doctor Strange has the Mystic trait, but I guess we'll see if there are other heroes in the future that have the Mystic trait. This is not specifically a Doctor Strange card, which is sort of interesting to me as well. But you get +1 to your hand size while in hero form. That's kind of cool. Actually really cool. It only costs 2 to be able to get +1 to your hand size. I like that a lot, but it's interesting that it, maybe we'll see other Mystic characters in the future. Maybe Scarlet Witch can play this card and become the Sorceress Supreme? I don't know, we'll see. Cool, let's see what else is here. We do have 3 of the Warning card. This is another new one. 0 cost event, interrupt, defense. When a hero would take any amount of damage, reduce that amount by 1. So you can kind of mitigate some of the damage you're taking, mitigate 1 of the damage you're taking. And then of course you get your staples, the Genius, Strength and Energy, and of course Avengers Mansion. So that is basically all of the regular cards there. Let's take a look at your obligation. There is Physical Toll. You may flip to Alter Ego form and choose Exhaust Stephen Strange and remove this from the game, which is pretty standard for these obligations. Or you may flip, the next event you play costs 3 additional resources. Discard this obligation after you play an event. Ugh, gross. Yeah, that's rough. And then we have Baron Mordo here. 2 scheme, 2 attack, Forced Interrupt. He does very similar to what the Mystic Blast does, but he's going to do it back to you. Forced Interrupt, when he attacks, you discard the top card of your deck. If that card, Apprentice Resources, has the physical, you're stunned. Energy, you're going to take 2 damage. Mental, you're going to be confused. Or if it's wild, it's all of the above. Gross. And of course, I don't like to dig into these too much, but of course he has all this stuff. I like to keep these as little teasers a little bit in case when you play the game, things that mess up different things that you're playing, and that will be cool too. So let's look at the extra cards that come in here. You do get Iron Man as an ally. He costs 4. 2 thwart, 2 attack, and reduce the cost to play each upgrade on Iron Man by 1. So we're playing different upgrades in the leadership aspect. You'll be able to play those on him, and it will be reduced in cost. Awesome. So you just get 1 of those. Then you have Skilled Strike. It's a zero cost event. When your hero makes a basic attack, it gets +2 for that attack. That's cool. I might want to try that out in the Thor and see how that works. And then foiled, zero cost event. Interrupt, when a boost card is turned face up during the scheme activation, cancel its boost icons. Awesome. So you can play this in alter ego mode and mess up some of the boost icons. Cool. Awesome. Well, that is all the stuff for the Doctor Strange Hero Pack. So yeah, Doctor Strange is super interesting. He definitely plays very different with his whole evocation deck, the 5 cards that you're going to be like cycling through and figuring out ways to basically put the right card on the top, maybe the one that does a bunch of extra damage, and figure out how to use that multiple times with some of his spell cards and events. And it's just cool to like cycle through and figure out how to solve different problems in the game with those cards. I definitely think it's cool and it's unique because like all those evocation cards feel like they're straight up broken. And if you could just put them in your deck and have multiples, it would be insane. But the fact that you have to figure out ways to flip through those cards and get the correct one on top so that way you can make it happen is really cool. I feel like Doctor Strange is probably one of the most powerful heroes we've seen so far. I've played games against Easy Rhino, which I play just to test out the power level against other things, and Rhino never attacked me, and I didn't really take much damage at all. I think I took damage from like a minion coming out and auto-triggering damage on me. So it's like he never thwarted, he never attacked, and it was just cool because I was able to confuse him, I was able to stun him with all of the different status effects that he has. You can just really mitigate this stuff. In solo, it is crazy how awesome it is. You can basically just nerf the villain pretty easily. It can help out a lot too in multiplayer because you're going to be able to stop some of those triggers of attacks and different things like that. So whoever the first player isn't going to be stressing out as much about that stuff. But yeah, I really enjoy the way a lot of his cards come together. It's cool with all the spells and combos and being able to like exhaust him to trigger the card and then unexhaust him with his cape and all sorts of different stuff, figuring out how to do those combos. I really like the allies as well. Like I said, Iron Fist is one of like my favorite allies in the game so far, just because he's able to also do stun, which is really cool to keep the villain from attacking you. And he can hit for 3, which is cool. He can only do it twice, but yeah, I just really enjoyed the way this works. I'm really like much more of an aggression type character. I like to be able to do tons of damage and see how fast I can beat villains. And sometimes that's not as good, but I feel like Doctor Strange like base cards do tons of damage with his evocation deck, get rid of tons of threat, which is like the main way you can lose the game besides getting hit really hard. And it's just really cool, all the stuff that happens with Doctor Strange. I think this is my favorite one. If you're gonna pick up one pack so far, I think Doctor Strange, either Doctor Strange or Captain America would be the first one I'd go for, just because those packs are really good. I really enjoy what it brings to the game, and it's crazy how each time they come out with more stuff for the game, like these different heroes are playing slightly differently. And I love to see the innovation in the different heroes and making them feel like, oh man, I'm a sorcerer casting spells and flipping through this deck and looking through a little like spell book basically to cast stuff. It seems really cool and really thematic. So that's my thoughts on Doctor Strange. Which upcoming hero are you most excited for? I'm definitely excited to check more of these out, even though we're probably going to be waiting a while for them since all of the delays, but I'm definitely super excited to try out more Marvel Champions. This one definitely gets but 2 thumbs up for me. Super awesome deck. That's Doctor Strange for Marvel Champions.